Sydney real estate FOMO. Let's have a look. Good morning everyone, Florian Heise here and welcome to a new week. I've got my weekly stein of coffee, or morning stein of coffee, and I thought we would have a look at this article shared to me by a viewer from realestate.com.au and originally from the Daily Telegraph. A nice piece of real estate FOMO. We haven't had some for a few days, so I thought it'd be a great way to start the week. Now, the top growth suburbs in Sydney, where house prices are tipped to rise by $219,000 this year, guys. That's virtually money in the bank. That's money. You would be crazy not to take advantage of these artificially low interest rates, borrow to the hilt, and throw your money at these houses. Pay, over and above the reserve price at these auctions, guys, because these auction clearance rates, the data there is rock solid. It's science. It's got numbers and maths. So, it has to be completely accurate. Let's have a look, guys. House prices in pockets of the northern beaches, Sutherland Shire and eastern suburbs will balloon by more than $70,000 this year as Sydney braces for another property boom. Now, we can see here, I'll bring up the increase in property prices since 2006. You can see the light blue line. Look at Sydney shooting up there. And look what happened 15, 16 and 17. Look at that growth there in Sydney, Melbourne, and just the capital average. Now, what I will also draw to everyone's attention is this chart here. This is showing you the amount of foreign investment in housing and how it's collapsed by 58% year on year in 2017-18. So it's the lowest since 09-010. Foreign investment in housing has plunged. And that was something that I would argue, we could say, helped facilitate this rise in property prices. So now they're hoping, with slowing GDP growth, non-existent wage growth, building approvals dropping. I mean, sure, that will decrease supply, but it's also going to decrease the amount of people that can purchase it. With consumer confidence wonderfully low. I mean, hell, even car sales are going down. Arrears rates up. Job ads are going down. But somehow, Sydney is going to have a property boom. Am I just getting too cynical for all of this, guys? Am I just getting too cynical? Do I need to have more coffees? New research revealed suburbs in these regions, notice how they use the word research, in these regions had the biggest imbalance between supply and demand and will get the fastest house price growth of any Sydney suburbs this year. It comes as the Commonwealth Bank's monthly household spending intention series, released Tuesday, that was last week, revealed demands for housing hit a record high in December. The spike in demand coincided with a 30% annual drop in listings, which left Sydney with fewer homes available for sale than in Brisbane, despite being double the size of Queensland's capital. Suburbgrowth.com.au analyst Jeremy Shepherd said this distortion in supply and demand was most apparent in suburbs near the coast because they offered a coveted lifestyle but had the fewest listings. This dynamic would push prices up by six-figure margins, he said. Okay, so let's remember this. They're drawing upon this website. And the more and more I see this, because I had a colleague I knew who, when we were both studying, I think he was working at Woolies as a trolley boy. I was the checkout service cashier. And he ended up becoming a journalist. We caught up probably about a year or two ago now. And he had moved from more journalistic pieces to more real estate and development pieces. These type of things. It's a different type of journalism. There's no investigation here. They're just pulling information from different sources and creating an interest piece. Do you think there would ever be any criticism coming out of this? The real estate, the developers, this business, everyone would love them writing this. Suburbgrowth.com.au modelling showed house prices in the suburb of Davidson on the northern beaches would rise by $103,000 for the year, while prices in nearby Colliery Plateau would increase by an average of $107,000. Allenby Heights house prices were forecast to grow by an average of 98 grand, and prices in neighbouring suburbs of Narrowena and Beacon Hill by about 90. See, the thing is, by writing this, the real estate agents will draw upon this. People will expect this. This will get more people will experience FOMO, fear of missing out. So they will jump in. They will jump in to make these purchases, to buy. So is it a self-fulfilling prophecy? The modelling was based on auction clearance rates, online search activity, listing volumes, market cycle timing, and a range of other indicators of demand and supply. Now, auction clearance rates. Let me bring up my website here, and you can see says.heise.com.au. I've got a recent article I wrote with information that was provided from Fresh Canvas. Dipping my toes and actually doing written pieces. Just looking at the, frankly, bullshit numbers that are auction clearance rates. They are overinflated. There is a discrepancy between what is actually published and what really happens. And the worst thing is, you can see here, because Fresh Canvas did the data mining, I've got the data here you can download. This is some example properties, and the status from the auction clearance rates was that they were unconfirmed. But then a few days later, they were relisted for sale. Did they go back and update the auction clearance rates? What do you think? No, they didn't. So they have access to the information. Addresses never change, so that's your data ID. You can use that to cross-check changes to properties, and they could be providing us with accurate auction clearance rates, particularly if properties are relisted for sale straight away. But doesn't that tell us the auction didn't happen or didn't go very well? What if you bought? Would you really buy a property and then list it for sale a few days later from auction? No, you wouldn't. So, guys, have a look at that. And remember, this is the basis of all of the claims, or a big portion of the claims being made in this article. They're saying, oh, well, there's such high demand. We're getting 60, 70, 80, 90% auction clearance rates. So there's so much demand for it. But they're not discussing the reporting rate. They're not discussing the amount of people that don't comment on it or don't submit their figures. So have a look at that if you are not familiar with it, guys. But I guess that's why I am becoming so cynical with regards to all of this real estate reporting. Local agent Gary Greco of Clark and Hummel said these northern beaches pockets were getting more popular because they were cheaper alternatives to areas such as coral and freshwater. Prices are about 1.4 to 1.5 million, but that's considered entry level on the northern beaches, he said. Most of the buyers are families. They want big blocks, but there is an overwhelming shortage of listings. 1.5 million. Probably get 3 or 4 houses for that here in Brisbane. You could retire on the rental income. Maybe I'm just thinking like a different class of person, to be honest. 1.5 million for a house? Damn, or I got my house pretty cheap because it needs a lot of work. That's probably a different perspective. Mr. Shepherd said there was a similar trend in the inland suburbs of the Sutherland Shire. Buyers were seeking homes in areas where they could get more bang for their buck. Prices in the suburb of Bangor, one of the cheapest in the region, were forecast to grow by 76,000. Oh, only 76. There will be a similar price bump of 73,000 in neighbouring suburb of Verona Heights, while further south in Heathcote, price rises were expected to be $60,000 for the year. In the eastern suburbs, Bronte would record a price surge of about 219,000, pulling the local median house price past 3 million. I mean, these are not normal houses, guys. It's all to do with the percentage growth. Narrowena resident Claudia and Sean Jacobs, who were taking their renovated home in Bullara Crescent to auction on February 15th, said they weren't surprised the area was getting more popular. As Jacobs said, "It's really green, really quiet, great for families, and there's only 3 other houses besides ours for sale." Shouldn't be misses. The couple's Hampton beach-style home was extensively renovated and includes a sunny north terrace and rear courtyard on an 866 square metre block. So they get free advertising. The boys are there in a photograph. I mean, okay. Doesn't look all that exciting from this aspect. But here we have the percentage change. So they're predicting between 6.8 and 7.5% growth in property prices next year in suburbs from Sydney. I mean, they're basing a lot of that on auction clearance rate data, guys. And as you can see here, linked on my website, we've proven it's wrong. It's BS. What do you think about this article? Just more FOMO? Do you think people will buy into it? Do people believe this stuff? I guess they have to. They don't look into it any deeper, do they? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to help us that little bit extra, we have Patreon where you can make a monthly donation. All your support goes to buying new equipment and helping us improve the content we produce. You can do a similar thing at YouTube where you can join the channel but also get access to badges and emojis. We have referral links for independent reserve via crypto trading and Amazon and eBay for your consumer purchases. It's a great way for you to support the channel while just making purchases. Honestly, if you're going to do it anyway, it doesn't cost you anything extra, and we receive a little bit of cash. You know, it adds up over the year. I've noticed someone's buying a whole lot of Blu-ray discs. Awesome. We also have merchandise we sell on the HeiseSays website, our very own pocket squares, handmade here by Rachel. And finally, we have PayPal if you'd like to contribute that way. Thank you to everyone who's helped the channel grow. Have a great day, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye for now.